and welcome to Let's Talk HR with Dr. Deneen, the talk show that spotlights HR professionals and talks about all things HR. Did you know the occupations or professions with the highest wage growth are skilled trade workers? Plus, statistics are showing a new trend toward what are called skill-based organizations. My featured guest today is none other than Robert Knecht, Director of Public Works Division, City of Memphis Government, and he shared today his insights on skilled trade workers and this new idea around skilled-based organizations. Thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh boy, I am so excited about you being here. I know we've known each other for a long time. I can remember when you started with city government, and I want to thank you for all your service as a public servant to the city of Memphis and all that you've done. So it was about 23 years ago, right? When you started with the city of Memphis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I was the employment manager at the time. I've since then retired. I retired as the talent management officer. And you didn't really come in under a skilled trade craft per se, but you're an engineer, right?
Yeah, just I have an engineering degree, civil engineering.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your professional journey.
Yeah, I'm ex-military. I served in the military and the Air Force, and some of my skilled trade experience actually started out there because I was trained to be a computer specialist. I was a computer and electronics specialist.
Okay.
So I worked on all kinds of important equipment that served the military and the Air Force. So that started kind of that career. But when I got out, I was able to go back to college and finish my civil engineering degree. And that started my career in the city of Memphis, as I came in as an engineer for public works.
All right. Who knew? Who knew you were part of the military, took those skills, transferred them over to engineering, and here you are now.
Yes.
The head of public works, which is the third largest division in the city of Memphis government. I believe that's what it is.
Exactly true.
Absolutely true. So becoming the director of a public sector organization, was that something you planned to do in your career path, or is that something you just fell into?
Yeah, that's a really good question. When you start your career, any career, especially in government, you kind of want to have a vision. I'm a big strategic thinker, and so I always set short-term and long-term goals for myself. And so especially from a professional development opportunity, you seek mentors, or you get engaged with individuals who are in your organization who you think are good to emulate and learn from. And I was very lucky to have amazing mentors.
Yeah.
Jerry Collins, who was
Jerry Collins, I remember him.
Great mentor.
Yeah.
Herman Adair was a great mentor. Bill Hamilton and Charlie King. These were great individuals who I learned so much from and wanted me to be successful. And so not only did I invest in myself and learning and taking on opportunity, but just learning from those wonderful individuals who helped prepare me for my future career. And so I kind of progressed into the career through just opportunity.
Just through opportunity.
And desire.
And desire and mentorship.
Yes.
And it's so important to have mentors on the job helping you along, people you can ask questions about, people that have already seen all of the trouble places, and they can help you not fall into those same traps, right? Yeah. So good to have those mentors, and so good to hear those names again. That is great. So today we're talking about skilled craft workers, right? And so let's talk about it. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. What are skilled crafts? Tell us about that. What's skilled crafts?
Those are usually highly trained individuals who have a particular set of skills that are more on a technical level or a proficiency in applying an application or providing a service that you need to function in multiple areas. It's pretty much in all types of industries, organizations, and they're very commonly utilized because you can't function without them.
You cannot function without them. Skilled crafts, highly skilled. So that takes maybe education out beyond high school, maybe.
Yes.
Certification, those things. But we're talking about electricians, right?
Yeah,
Plumbers, right?
Mechanics.
We have helicopter mechanics at the
Yes.
city of Memphis. They're engineers, HVAC, heating and
Yes.
air. What can we do
Brick
without these
masons,
brick masons?
Yeah,
All
pipe
these-
layers. Yeah, these are, yeah.
Hey, listen, he's giving us all of it.
Yeah, they go on,
It
right?
can go on and on. But these are the people that are making a difference. And guess what? They are the higher paid wages in organizations today. And we can't do them without them. Let me pose a question for you. Could the city work without these skilled workers?
No, it's impossible.
It's impossible to do it. Yeah.
I can run my wastewater treatment plants, so which imagine serve 850,000 people in our area with wastewater services without those individuals.
Okay.
It'd be impossible.
It would be impossible to do. Wow, and then that's the things we don't think about. We think about the administrative professions, we think about those other things, but these are the jobs that keep things running.
Yeah, the city couldn't exist without them.
Couldn't exist without them. And so there are other skilled crafts as well. Skilled crafts like nurses, right?
Yes.
That's a skilled craft, right? Medical professionals, right? People in the healthcare industry. IT, that's a special craft. Doctors, nurses, all of those things. All of these are listed as skilled craft or skilled trade workers. And so those are the growing trends in the workplace today. So why is it important for us to understand the importance of skilled trade workers in the workplace today? Why is that important for us to know?
Well, when you're an organization, especially a large organization, especially when it's evolving, because with technology evolving, the use and application of AI and machine learning is even becoming really more of a common theme and in industry and government, that it requires a huge amount of skills to actually function in that environment. So it's critical to have skilled trades across a plethora of applications and work types that would serve those industries, those organizations.
Absolutely. And so what the growing trend now is what are called skill-based organizations. And it's a new trend now. They're talking about it in the industry, a big buzz around it. But let me tell you, Robert Knecht was overseeing and supervising skilled-based organizations long before it became popular, because the Public Works Division is somewhat of a skilled-based organization. So you were doing that long before this industry trend became popular. So let me ask you this. Where are skilled craft professionals mostly used?
When you talk about how, let's say, for example, government is somewhat compartmentalized, and you're going to have different functions that are serving, let's say street maintenance, and like I mentioned, wastewater, and even in our IT sector. All those areas require a different skilled trade or different skilled trade individuals to function and perform the daily task. So you can see that as a function where you're going to be hiring individuals and retaining individuals who perform those specialized skills that you need, like when it comes to paving a street. You would think that requires skill-based individuals.
It does.
But then you got heavy equipment operators who have to run that large equipment, and that takes a very specific skill to do it. And it's not something you just learn by just wanting to jump on, a very expensive, large, and it could be dangerous to operate piece of equipment. It takes the right training and the right background and experience to do that and do it well.
Yes. Yeah. So it requires special training. Do most of these crafts require a special training or a certification in order for you to be considered proficient in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, depending on your career path and the skilled trades, there's going to be a different way to accomplish that. Some of it's just by hands-on experience. Some of it's going to be a testing environment that you have to show your capabilities. Or it just could be a professional organization, who provides that skill and certifies you, provides you the certificate, which you can demonstrate or show as proof.
Okay. You mentioned the heavy equipment operators. And so when we talk about heavy equipment, what does that mean? That's forklifts. What is that?
Well, in industry, it's typically anything where it is not a typical vehicle that's utilized in a work environment. But as most people might recognize them as like a big front end loader, that could be an excavator, it could be a rubber tire backhoe, bulldozers. Those are common things that are associated. Cranes.
Okay.
Or those are kind of things that are typically associated with heavy equipment.
Wow. That is so great to know, because the administrative professional seems to be moving out, and these skilled trades are moving in. So what's your take on that? Do you see that happening? I tell you what have you seen over the years with regard to that transition from the administrative job to more of the skilled crafts job?
Well, I see that, we have definitely had a transition from administrative being, shrinking or reducing the workforce, right? Because, we can do so much more administratively with less individuals. But our need for skilled crafts have grown tremendously.
Yes.
And the wages have grown tremendously because the demands have grown so much. So, you can definitely see that there has been a huge growth, not only from the necessity for those skilled trades, but in wages associated with it. And administratively, we've had to make accommodations to balance that.
Well, let's talk money. Let's talk about money. What are some of the average starting salaries in some of these professions?
Yeah, they typically are very well compensated, and especially from a starting perspective. You'll see $50,000, $60,000 not uncommonly offered for some of these public skilled trade positions.
And that's at the beginning, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's just starting out. Tell me about some of the benefits of skilled craft workers.
Well, I think one of the biggest opportunities that skilled craft have over administratively is the ability to earn what we call overtime.
Overtime,
yeah.
Okay.
So, under federal law, if you work more than 40 hours in a work week, whatever that is determined, you have to get paid a time and a half usually.
Yes.
And in some institutions or under some agreements, sometimes on your 7th day of continuous work, you make double time. So so you make double your wages for the hours that you worked.
Yeah. Wow, that's outstanding. So compared to administrative professionals, you can make double time just by working, extra.
The administrative professionals usually are salaried individuals who don't have the opportunity to work overtime.
Right.
They're set wages for no matter how many hours they work. And in skilled trades, that is not the common practice. It is, hours worked, hours paid, and hours over the normal 40-hour week, you're earning overtime.
So, at the city, it was so funny when we would do the new hire orientation. Most of the people wanted, I'm going to start in this professional job. I'm going to be an administrative professional. I'm going to be doing these type things. But I would always tell that audience, listen, the higher paying salary jobs are not those administrative professional jobs.
Yeah.
They are the skilled crafts. And also when I would talk to young graduating high school kids, I would tell them, listen, you may want to think of getting a trade, because guess what? You can take that everywhere you go.
Yes, ma'am.
One plays out, you can take it everywhere you go, from here all over the world. So that's why I want to highlight these skilled professions so people can be aware that they're out there and they're viable, and it is a great profession to do that.
And you don't have to have a 4-year degree. It is a great career path that doesn't require the potentially traditional path, career educational path.
Right. And so in these skilled-based organizations that we talked about a few minutes ago, that's the idea. Organizations are moving from moving from the traditional career path, right, administrative, to these skill-based organizations. And what they do is focus on the skill rather than focusing on years of experience, right? So that's what a skill-based organization does. They're going to focus on individuals that are coming in. What are their skill set? What are their certifications? Rather than how many years of experience have you had in a certain industry, right? So that's what's going on, and that's why you need to be aware and start driving the interest. That's why I'm so glad that you're here to set that example. About skilled trade workers. Now, let me ask you this. Let's talk about recruiting for these skilled trades. What are the best ways? What's your take of the best ways organizations can recruit for these type workers?
Well, you have to be very creative because the demand is so high.
Yeah.
And, so we spend a lot of time and effort in public works and in the city going to multiple, lots of different avenues to engage with, potential future candidates or interested individuals. So you're talking, we're even going to high schools, you go to trade schools, obviously with technical schools, you're going to the professional organizations, you have lots of organizations that are just basically, we call them unions, associations.
Yeah,
that are basically dedicated to those skilled trades.
Yeah.
And so you have to be creative and go to any opportunity you can to engage. Yeah. Career fairs. Sometimes you're just hosting a career fair.
Yeah.
Just saying, come interact with us and let's talk about what kind of opportunities exist.
Yeah.
And you have to really look to the aptitudes of the individual. Sometimes an individual just have the right aptitudes and are eligible to grow into a career.
All right.
So that's why you have entry level. That's why you have entry level positions, and you train on the job.
Absolutely. So you have to be creative, right? And go to those institutions who are training and giving these certifications. Now, you mentioned some organizations are creating their own certification processes.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Well, if you look at the non-standard opportunities, like non-traditional four-year college degree opportunities, there's a lot of those entities out there that are offering programs specifically like HVAC.
Yes.
Someone's getting an HVAC degree or license, I should say, not a degree. ASC certified mechanics, those really well compensated positions, huge demand, and that industry has grown significantly. Professional truck driving, over-the-road truck driving, those are specialty organizations out there just to offer individuals to get a Class A CDL, commercial driver's license, and wages. Amazing wages opportunity because demand for shipping and receiving and transporting the goods across our country and everywhere are on high demand.
Oh my goodness, did you hear those? Did you ever just sit down and think about what's the path in which I can go to get into these professions, into these trades, these crafts? Yes, it's a way you can go, and it's a way that organizations can recruit. You've got to go to those places that prepare people and have those certification processes. And then you talked about high schools. Hey, you start getting the interest in high school about, some kids, hey, I don't want to go to a four-year college, but hey, I may want to go and get a certification in HVAC, which is, heating, ventilation, air, right? Hey, we got to have those people. Let your air go out at home. What happens?
Exactly.
You're calling them, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is great.
Got to fix your car. Someone's got to be a fixer. Yeah, think about that.
You got to think about that. The mechanics.
Yeah.
Hey. And then what I was saying, that helicopter mechanic, when I was at the city of Memphis, when I got there, I was like, oh, I never really thought about that. There's got to be somebody to fix these, right?
Airplane mechanics at FedEx, it's amazing the amount of opportunity, and there's an industry like that, that imagine what you can accomplish with that.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to, if they knew, hey, I want to go into a skilled trade, where would you say they could start? Where would you say they could start?
Well,
are there trade schools they can start?
Yes. Yeah, there are plenty of trade schools. I'm another military guy. The military offers a great opportunity to get a skilled trade as well. There's a lot of institutions, and then the governments even provide that path. For example, when I I had a 2-year degree. I was 2 years into college, and I looked at the military as a potential opportunity, right?
Okay.
And the military is really great at looking at your aptitudes. Yeah, they have the thing called the ASVAB, right?
Okay.
You may have heard of it. I don't know.
Tell us about it.
Well, you go into the recruiting area, and they'll want you to take a series of tests, and through that series of tests, they'll determine your mechanical, your electrical, those kind of aptitudes that you demonstrate naturally or through your experience or your background, able to do well. And depending on that, you might determine what kind of career path they think you're best suited for. So they utilize that as a tool, especially when you're going to military service, to determine what they think you're going to be best suited for. So like for me, I did well in mechanical and electrical, and electronics and computers I was very fascinated with, always have been, and that was just a great entry opportunity, and moved on from there.
Wow, that's why he's an engineer.
Yes.
That's why he's an engineer. But did you hear that? The military is a great breeding ground for you understanding, some of those trades that you may be interested in or have the aptitude for.
Yes.
I tell you. So that in the trade schools, trade schools here in Memphis, are they all over? Do you go online to look for them? Where do you find that type?
There's a large number of vocational and trade schools here. There are, I would say you could research it online. That's a really good idea. There are trade fairs, career fairs as well that you can see publicized. And then there are these organizations that I mentioned. You have International Association of IAMAWM. It's Association of Machinists. There's a machinist organization. There's electrician organizations, HVAC organizations that offer opportunities for journeymen. They call it. Journeyman is basically an entry-level position into these careers where you have to spend some time working with a master level individual who will prepare you to get your certification. So you just got to look for which you feel you're most interested in and start having those conversations.
And that's where I guess shadowing, we call it shadowing in the industry, but you're with an experienced trade worker, I guess, or professional, and you then work under them. They show you the ropes, you take your certifications, and then after that, you become that journeyman, right?
The master, actually.
The master
electrician. Master mechanic.
Mechanic. So that's how it works. It's a hierarchy. Oh man, I'm so excited about this. Okay, now let's see this. Now, a person that's been in the administrative side, professional. What if I decided I wanted to go into a skilled craft after being in a professional, administrative professional type work for so long? How would I do that, Robert?
Well, there's no end to opportunities. You just got to go seek those certifications and get the experience necessary to perform the skilled trade.
Okay.
So skilled trade or skilled craft. We talked about going to a vocational school or technical. You can easily accomplish that if you want to. Like my example, when I was working for the city, I continued my professional career and my professional education.
Yeah.
Even though I got an MBA, which is not a skilled craft, but you can do that while you're working.
Okay.
You can, you just have to have the desire and wanting to seek that additional training and additional development continually. You're professionally developing yourself.
Yeah, continuous development. I tell you what, I don't know how well I would do in these, but hey, it's worth the idea of looking at it. Let me just tell you. So, Robert, let me tell you this. Are there any challenges a person in the skilled crafts? Are there challenges that they face at all in their careers or anything?
Well, obviously, a lot of it's working outdoors. Sometimes you could be in an environment where you're going to be, and not indoors, so it's not maybe as comfortable. Especially if you're in construction. In those construction industries, You're working in dangerous environments. There could be there's safety, so safety is always a big important factor in that what you do. Got to always be safe. But there are hazards in these career paths, and you got to just be prepared and knowledgeable and experienced. To know what you're doing.
You got to want to be outside sometimes, not always, but I think the skill outweighs those outside factors. So
and the wages.
And the wages to do that. So you heard him again. He's saying the wages. Better take a look at it. Better take a look at it. If you look at transferring, doing something else, skilled trades. And then we have so much that's coming. You got the blue oval wave that's coming here, right? A lot of those are going to require skilled trades, right? If you're looking at that. So this is so exciting to even just talk about. So if an individual is interested in the skill crafts, what advice would you give them?
I think plan for what skilled trade you're most interested in, and start looking at what are the requirements necessary to perform that skill, that trade. There are always going to be a minimum level of experience or requirements. And that aptitude I mentioned is really critical to help you, be prepared to start that journey down towards that actual application, or receiving that certification, or getting the experience necessary.
Well, has this profession served you well? Would you say it served you well?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm very proud of my experience and my background. I love engineering. I've always loved that as a profession for me. But I didn't start out as that. Like I said, I started out in an area where I was a skilled trade, being someone who worked on computers and worked on electronic equipment. That was required. It took me a year of trade training. The military provided me a year of training to prepare me for my career. How often do you get those opportunities? So that's why I just talked about it as an opportunity. But that's the kind of things that make you successful long term, because you can apply those in multiple ways.
Oh, I tell you, this is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Robert Knecht, for coming on the show today. Hey, I want you to come back and talk about it a little bit more if you can.
Sure.
So good to see you again.
It's wonderful spending this time with you, Dr. Lester.
Thank you so much. Wow, we've learned so much about skilled trade workers and how to enter the profession and the trend about this idea called skill-based organizations. My guest, Robert Knecht, was an amazing guest. He's an amazing professional with an amazing career. Being informed and aware about the possibilities of careers that are available, it's paramount. HR professionals can be the resource to help educate and guide you to the career and the profession that rocks for you. Be sure to watch a new episode of Let's Talk HR with Dr. Deneen, the first of every month on YouTube channel of the same name, and on Comcast Xfinity Channel 17, Monday nights from 8 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Please note you can watch Let's Talk with HR with Dr. Deneen and prior episodes anytime. Go to YouTube and type in the talk show title. Be sure to subscribe, no fee, and click on the notification bell. This is HR TV. I'm Dr. Deneen, and I want to talk HR with you. HR forever. See you next time.